It is 4:30 a.m., April 16, 1945, during the Battle of Okinawa. A weary sailor struggles to stay awake aboard the USS Laffey until sudden ominous radar pings reveal multiple enemy contacts closing in through the mist. The man snaps awake and sounds the alarm. A piercing siren blares across the ship as sailors rush to battle stations. Commander F. Julian Beckton bursts onto the bridge, his eyes searching for answers. Multiple contacts are detected 20 miles out, but they suddenly turn away. Beckton's adrenaline fades into frustration. The Japanese have been poking the radar all night, calculatedly draining the crew's strength before the real assault. Silence reigns over the bridge. Masking a deep, collective fear, the Laffey stands as a solitary radar station, the first target for every Japanese kamikaze on their deadly path toward the ongoing operations in Okinawa. Overhead, the Grim Reapers, 3 divisions of F-4U Corsairs, provide a fragile line of defense. But at 7:30 a.m., everything shatters. Radio contact is lost, leaving the Laffey exposed and dangerously vulnerable to the north. Beckton stares at the radar screen, chilled by what he sees. Dozens of dots swarm the glass, looking like a severe case of chickenpox. Alone and without air cover, the nightmare has finally arrived. 38 words. Everyone, to battle stations. Give us everything you've got, Beckton shouts. Alarms scream as 6 Japanese kamikazes peel off from their formation, beginning a slow, lethal circle around the Laffey, selecting their prey. From the distance, 2 planes make their move and pounce. Inside the ship, men grip their firing buttons, listening to the growing roar of engines. Beckton moves to the flying bridge, prepared to drop lead on them. The Laffey's 5-inch main guns thunder fill in the sky with black flak. A Japanese pilot charges through the smoke, but a direct hit disintegrates his aircraft into a massive ball of flame before it can strike. A second plane emerges from the falling debris. Ignore it until the last moment. The 40mm guns shred its wings as it screams toward the bow, finally ripping apart and crashing into the sea 3,000 yards away. There is no time to celebrate. Seconds later, 2 more Japanese aircraft appear off the stern, flying at wave-top height. The Laffey's guns pivot desperately, aiming at the new threats emerging from the horizon. Beckton orders a sudden, violent turn, trying to bring more guns to bear. The crew of the anti-aircraft guns take cover as they are hit with the blinding muzzle blast of their own powerful ship's weapons. A Japanese pilot is seconds from impact when a shell rips off his wing, sending the plane tumbling into the sea. The 4th plane attempts a daring charge. Stubborn and desperate to take the Americans down, the Americans punish the enemy with everything they have. The 4th plane cartwheels across the sea before sinking beneath the waves, but the nightmare is far from over as 2 more aircraft charge from both sides. Most guns turn to starboard, but the portside plane accelerates, pushing through the resistance. The Americans have ignored this enemy for too long as it strafes the deck, inflicting heavy casualties on the exposed sailors. Gravity and wreckage come straight for the ship. Sailors flee for their lives as the Laffey's guns fire until the very end. Beckton screams to turn the rudder hard to starboard in a desperate attempt to evade. The wreck slams into the sea with a soul-shaking explosion. Shrapnel sprays across the deck, but miraculously, the ship survives. A temporary calm falls, giving the wounded a moment to be dragged to the infirmary. After 7 long minutes of agonizing suspense, another enemy plane turns toward the Laffey. Beckton immediately maneuvers the ship, desperate to bring every available gun to bear on this new lethal threat. The Val bomber evades left and right, aiming directly for the Laffey's bridge. Beckton watches the enemy's flight path with icy clarity, ordering the ship into a series of high-stakes evasive maneuvers. It becomes a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Beckton hides the bridge from the Val's path again and again, as the aircraft miraculously keeps flying despite taking numerous hits from the ship's guns. Atop the 5-inch gun mount, a barrel suddenly jams. Without hesitation, the gun captain jumps down, grabbing a heavy hammer and smashing the base of the barrel. In a desperate bid to clear it in the sky, the Japanese pilot feels his aircraft disintegrating. Realizing he can no longer reach the bridge, he desperately turns his plane toward the main body of the ship for a final, suicidal strike. 37 words, the Val crashes directly into a 40mm gun mount, obliterating the position. A flood of flaming gasoline and wreckage engulfs the deck, leaving the crew fighting a desperate battle against the spreading inferno. Beckton's attention is suddenly ripped away by a new warning. Contact to port, coming in fast. A 9th Japanese plane appears, skimming the waves and aiming for a fatal blow against the battered destroyer. The 40mm gunners focus every ounce of strength on this new intruder. In a brilliant display of marksmanship, the enemy plane detonates in midair. falling into the sea just 200 yards away. But the nightmare continues. A ninth plane is spotted skimming the waves on the port side, determined to crash. Damaged guns struggle to respond as the enemy enters the range of the smaller 20mm weapons. The 20mm guns join the desperate defense, but the enemy powers through. The pilot sees the ship fill his windshield as he prepares for the end. Gravity and wreckage are coming straight for the Laffey. The Japanese plane crashes into the superstructure behind a 40mm gun, ripping off its wing. Flaming fuel sprays across the deck as the airframe falls off the starboard side. And its bomb finally detonates. Anti-aircraft guns are engulfed in flames, and ammunition crates start to cook off. Firefighting becomes the only priority as men rush to contain the blaze, saving the Laffey from a catastrophic ship-wide explosion. The guns are crippled, and another Japanese plane appears from the rear. With so many weapons out of commission, the volume of fire is not enough. The enemy plane slams into the Laffey's stern. The stern is now a burning inferno, and it's the easiest place to strike. Another plane sweeps in, dropping its bomb directly onto the wreckage, further devastating the interior of the already crippled ship. The explosion takes out the rudder and breaches the hull, locking it on a 26-degree turn to port. The Laffey is now stuck in a perpetual, helpless circle. Unable to evade any further attacks, Becton no longer has enough control to evade. A huge number of enemies fill the sky, so many he cannot even count them. He watches as two more aircraft peel off to begin their final attack. Becton orders flank speed, but it's not enough. The few guns in the stern open fire on the first plane, but it slams into the ship, followed by a second whose bomb fails to explode. The swarm continues to circle, waiting for their turn. Somehow, the ship remains afloat, but Becton knows it's a hopeless battle. The Laffey needs a miracle to survive this relentless, fiery nightmare. Corsairs, they're back. A flight of American fighters charges into the sea, immediately cutting down 4 of the circling Kamikazes. The Grim Reapers have arrived to reclaim the sky over the battered destroyer. The swarm scatters in every direction as a slaughter breaks out. The untrained Japanese pilots are no match for the American fighters, and they go down in flames, one after another, into the sea. But Laffey isn't out of the woods yet. In desperation, several Japanese aircraft make a turn for the destroyer. One dives in with a Corsair hot on its tail as gunners prepare for impact. Becton watches with horror as the enemy plane comes barreling toward him. He drops to the floor. Esto aircraft roared directly over his head, clipping the Laffey's mast in a shower of sparks. The American flag drops onto the deck. Second-class signalman Thomas McCarthy instantly tells a nearby sailor they have to get it back up. In the middle of combat, he retrieves the fallen colors. Mix CARTHY climbs the mast as Becton watches, but doesn't interrupt. He mounts the flag high on a cable for all to see, a symbol of defiance raised amidst the smoke and the wreckage of battle. For more Japanese kamikazes charge in one by one. The gunners take them all down. One gets as close as 50 yards before slamming into the sea, the crew's accuracy saving the ship once again. Becton is impressed by his men's gunnery, but the situation remains dire. An officer asks if they should abandon ship. Becton doesn't hesitate. After so much courage, it would be a crime to let her sink. A bomber sweeps in, dropping ordnance onto the Laffey's battered stern. Another charges straight for the bridge. An officer tackles Becton to the floor just moments before a volley of bullets rips through the structure. The bomber is cut down by a Corsair. Then another arrives from the port bow. It's hit in the ammunition and explodes right above the sailors' heads, wreckage crashing into the waves as the sky finally falls silent. After 80 minutes of hell, silence reigns. Becton asks why the enemy let up. He looks up to see 24 Allied Corsairs and Wildcats covering them, with not a single Japanese plane in sight. The Laffey remains a burning wreck, but Becton won't abandon it. After so much heroism, they managed to keep the ship that wouldn't die afloat, a testament to the crew's unyielding spirit and bravery. The attack tragically claimed 33 of the 336-man crew. The Grim Reapers scored 33 victories during the defense, protecting the Laffey from total destruction by the relentless enemy. Incredibly, the ship attacked by 22 kamikazes remains afloat, a miracle of steel and courage, surviving 80 minutes of the most intense aerial bombardment in the history of naval warfare at Okinawa. Today, the USS Laffey stands at Patriots Point Naval Museum, South Carolina. You can visit the ship that wouldn't die, a lasting monument to those who fought and sacrificed during that legendary battle. Experience the history, feel the courage, and remember the legends. The USS Laffey, the ship that took everything and refused to sink, forever etched in the annals of American naval bravery.